Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today. It is going to be a TVP on the map Hard Lead, Terran versus Protoss, but more importantly, a bot versus bot. These two bots are both incredibly good and fun to watch, as we have got TyrT, one of the variants of the multi-race bot. TyrP, TyrZ. I think TyrT is the best. Going to be taking on what I believe is the top-ranked Protoss bot. It is Sharkbot, which is a bot that I believe can be a little bit chaotic from what I recall. But I know that we haven't cast nearly enough Protoss bots on this channel, so I thought let's see what these bot authors have been up to. And Sharkbot going for lots of probe scouts. When I say lots, I mean 2, which is more than the average, as it checked around its base and then sent one across the map. So it is covering itself there by scouting out for cheeky cheese, which is a real good sign when it comes to watching a bot. Because, of course, why bother programming a bot to scout if you're not going to program a reaction to certain things? So, all looks pretty well for Sharkbot. We have got Tyr going for what looks to be a standard Reaper expand. As this probe for Sharkbot comes on in here, we'll see if it gets out in time to avoid the Reaper. Man, these SCVs do take this probe threat seriously. However, as that command center goes up on the low ground, the probe heads on out. And it's actually just going to be recalled, but oh, it gets shanked. Sharkbot trying to be fancy, recalling the probe there, not, I guess, anticipating that it may have been stabbed so much. So a bit of a wasted 50 energy there for Sharkbot, and it's actually building up a lot of energy, so not really utilizing Chrono Boost too much, which I'll say is interesting. Makes me wonder what the bot author is storing that for, whether it's just something that they have not programmed for. Now, as far as Tyr goes, it's getting a bunker on the high ground. I like to see that. Something, I don't know if it was the probe's presence or what, maybe scouting the lack of a natural for Sharkbot, but TyrT elected to cancel its command center and just go one base, bunker high ground, factory on the way. So delaying its own economic play, possibly the smart move with the presence of just one base robo from the Protoss. This is something that Sharkbot does fairly regularly. I believe there is a stalker on the way, so fortunately that Reaper did not elect to try and kill any probes. And I will say the lack of Chrono Boost being utilized by Sharkbot does make me a little bit worried, because, for example, that Reaper could have definitely killed a few probes if it was programmed to be aggressive, and the stalker wasn't being Chrono Boosted out. So I am curious about that. We do see a Chrono finally being used to get out an Observer quickly. So Sharkbot's energy usage is something we'll have to keep an eye on. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this video, make sure to go ahead and slap that like button if you haven't already. Join the Discord, which is linked down below. Consider becoming a YouTube member if you aren't already. You can check out the perks down below by pressing that join button right next to the subscribe button. And then, yeah. I think that's the spiel. Oh, more bots. Yeah. Leave a comment down below that says more bots if you want to see more of these StarCraft 2 bots. I know you guys enjoy watching them. I certainly enjoy casting them. I'm always blown away by how fun these games are to actually watch. As I was a little hesitant when I first got into casting and watching these bot games, but they've really gone up in level, and it's been really fun to watch them develop, of course. Now we've got a Colossus on the way for Sharkbot. That Prism is looking around, probably going to pick up this Colossus, so a Colossus drop may be what we're looking at. Now, this is a bit of a risky strategy, riskier than it used to be, but it's always been incredibly risky, because that Prism has now only got 80 HP versus the 100 that it had quite some years ago, I believe, at this point. But that Prism is fairly weak, so we'll have to see how well Sharkbot's going to control that. It's getting out speed for that Prism as well. Then nothing else on the way, really. No units, just a third base. So a very macro-focused build here. I like that, seeing as how TyrT has been kept on one base. This is concerning, though. If Sharkbot was human and saw that there was only one base out for, and saw that there was only one base for tier, there's not a chance that it would be attacking. It would probably be all on the defense with its third base on the way. Now, we do have a natural base heading up for TyrT, but whatever happened early on that made it cancel that command center really delayed the economy of TyrT. So Sharkbot's in a great spot here. I think it's getting an immortal. It is a bot that tends to go for heavy on the robo, heavy on the Stargate units, so it's getting out that Stargate, making an immortal. We'll see if it makes another Colossus or something like that. It isn't actually mining all of its gas. It's got one probe missing from this refiner, or from this assimilator, pardon me, so we'll see if it fixes that, or I wonder if that's just like a bug that happened, say if a probe got pulled off to do something else, or just got interrupted somehow, or if it's a programming oversight. Anyway, very interesting that there's 1,000 reasons why these bots do why they do. There's a long thought process when it comes to programming a bot, and the consequences are certainly something that compounds when it comes to programming a bot. They do things that you might not necessarily intend, like any program. They can have almost take on a life of their own. Now, we've got a Phoenix on the way to guard this Colossus, I suppose. 2 Phoenix on the way at a time, interestingly enough. So Phoenix Colossus. Now, it's making just the Phoenix right now. It needs to make more Colossus, I think, at this point. The lack of the one probe and gas, I feel, is definitely hurting Sharkbot's economy. It does, however, have that third up now, so it is mining there. It's getting up a couple photon cannons, pardon me, as that is cool to see. This Colossus got its Prism Escort. Interestingly enough, Great Micro can make that Colossus absorb a lot of shots. Phoenix Colossus against Viking tanks, though, is an incredibly sketchy composition to play against, because the Colossus are weak, the Phoenix need to be utilized perfectly, so it's really going to be a good test for both these bots, how they micro their units, how they control them. How does Tyr move its tanks forward? Is a fight going to happen when the tanks are all unsieged? Or is Sharkbot going to fly the Phoenix in potentially before, or let the Colossus get too near the Vikings? It's very risky. Now, Sharkbot does have a fleet beacon on the way. Getting up a 4th base, so it really is running away with the macro in this game versus Tyr. It's 46 to 70 workers, so things are looking real good for Sharkbot as its economy is roaring. Still only 2 probes in that gas, so interesting to point that out. I bet the bot author loves me looking at their bot author loves me looking at their epic bots and be like, huh, your bot made one tiny mistake. Explain this. So now we've got the 4th on the way for Sharkbot. I must say, I love the static defense. It's getting double Tempest on the way. Yeah, that is a very powerful air unit that can do well against the Vikings. Again, depending on the micro, otherwise Vikings can wreck Tempest. Vikings have been pretty good against Tempest since the Tempest got their HP nerfed into oblivion. Before, Tempest could absorb so many shots. That's definitely not the case anymore. I'm still not worried for Sharkbot in this game at all, though, as it's building a strong composition. It's got a static defense at all of its bases. It's got a good number of bases. It looks like it's going to be getting up a 5th base, whereas TyrT is just 2 basing it. It's now getting up a 3rd and a 4th, actually, as it's establishing those up. But what a macro game we have here today. And it's going to be an interesting test for both these bots. I wonder if Tyr will eventually go into battle cruisers potentially, or play a strict bio composition, as that is something that not a lot of Terran bots do. I mean, most of the Terran bots will build mech units and turtle and make battle cruisers, it seems, in these videos. I guess Tyr and Veteran, as far as the two Terran bots go that play a lot of bio, are. Now we see more cannons going up, more batteries, heavy on the static defense. No 5th just yet for Sharkbot. It definitely could throw that up whenever it likes. It's getting upgrades as well. Then again, so is Tyr. More command centers going up. And what a macro game this is. I may fast forward this one a little bit just to see, but I imagine something will happen when either of these bots hits 200 supply. Probably going to be Sharkbot with a mothership on the way already. More and more racks going up for Tyr, and I gotta say, I like this position, I think, for Sharkbot. My one concern is, say, if there is a lot of Marines, then there's potential for them to do well against the Tempest, but I mean, there's 4, soon to be 5 Colossus. That should be more than enough to deal with some Marines. The Marauders, of course, will do well against the Colossus, but not so well against the Tempest, and it seems that Tyr has maxed out at 10 Vikings, whereas it may want more. 10 seems to be a very practical number for the developer to pick, but in this case, if there's scouting done, yeah, we may want to see more of that. We are seeing Tyr actually move out for some aggression, and depending on which bot attacks can really determine the game. Now, these Marines are not stimming, but they are eating so many big Colossus swipes. The Vikings are moving forward, getting good shots off, but there is that battery overcharge, and it looks like Tyr is losing a lot of units, electing to go on home. It's making more Vikings, more Marines. I am really wondering if Tyr is going to be hard capped at 10 Vikings this game, just due to the design of the bot author, or whether it will make other units. Tyr is getting up a 5th. There's a 5th on the way for Sharkbot, so both these bots are still macroing. No counterattack from Sharkbot, when there definitely could be potential for that, but it may want to be fully maxed out. I'm not sure what thresholds it'll be waiting for before it fights. And 2-2 is now on the way for the Terran bot. Yeah, Tyr, though, however, has stopped making Vikings at 10 again, which does make me a little bit concerned, as Marines are just, they're good against Tempest, but they are not good against 5 Colossus, 6 Colossus, actually, pardon me. And then Sharkbot going to be getting up another Nexus. Storm, Dark Shrine on the way, +2 attack, Cinnamon Spice, and everything nice. And yeah, I'm a little worried for Tyr this game. I will say, it's maxed out again, it's going to go for an attack. And it's just going to be attacking into batteries, cannons, and Colossus. If there was 20 Vikings here, I'd say absolutely. There is not, however. The Vikings are getting some good shots off, melting the Phoenix. The +1 ship weapon's really helping them out. They do kill off one of the Colossus, it looks like. They're working on the mothership now, which is being healed by that battery overcharge. The Prism gets deleted, so even though there's only 10 Vikings, they're actually doing pretty darn well for themselves, attacking into an overcharged battery, but it was just destined to not succeed when there's simply that much Protoss. So another failed attack for Tyr. Shed a tear for Tyr as that attack fails yet again. We've got more Vikings being produced, so it's got lots of production. Seems to be hard capped at 5. It is at least getting the higher ship weapons, making so many Marines. There's definitely not a cap on Marines for Tyr, it seems, as it's making 16 more of those. Both bots are on incredible economies, so they can take lots of losses. The mule mining is giving an absurd mineral income for Tyr at 4,400 a minute. It's like 80 Marines a minute it can make, guys. Now, once again, Tyr's stepping on in. The Colossus count has been whittled down for Sharkbot, and that could be a problem, as it will increase the efficiency of the Marines. There's currently 3 Colossus out, but we do see the Vikings starting to go down. That battery overcharge being used again and again in all these fights is really darn good for Sharkbot. We are seeing Tyr split up its units a little bit, though, attacking these other bases, but a little bit unsure of where to go, it seems, as it just elects for a general retreat. A couple of tanks went down to the left side, interestingly enough. We see a couple of Immortals have been made now for Sharkbot. Immortals are good, but not so good against Bio. More Colossus, I think, would be the way to go. We've got soon to be that 10 Viking count again for Tyr. 3 3s on the way. That will really help out the Bio. However, there's +3, +2 on the way for the ground and air, respectively, for Sharkbot. We are seeing Tyr come on in again. This time, Sharkbot could be fighting without the support of its batteries, and it is. That could really change how this fight goes. Notably, there hasn't really been any stim usage from Tyr. Vikings working away on the mothership on the Tempest, but it does retreat to a battery. This base could potentially go down for Sharkbot, though. The attacking of Tyr isn't too efficient, however, as the units are not really stutter-stepping perfectly. It looks like they may get this base, but then the army of Sharkbot comes on in, stops that Bio from attacking that Nexus. It could be saved. Vikings coming on in. A good concave on the Bio. I just don't think there's enough here, and it looks like that Sharkbot will have saved this base at the last minute, causing massive losses for the Terran bot, about a 2-to-1 loss, and that is not surprising with Tempest, with Colossus, with a mothership and batteries. Tyr is going to keep trying to bash its head against this wall. We'll see if it gets better or worse. The one thing that is potentially going to improve for it is if Sharkbot doesn't make any more Colossus, as Tempest really are not good against Bio. Immortals aren't. Archons are okay with proper support. And there is one High Templar, but look at this. Tyr's coming on in again. Just the economy of the Terran bot is insane. The fact that it's able to remax again, dropping mules very consistently, even though it's only, well, it does have 6 orbitals, pardon me. I was going to say only 3. No, it's actually been making orbitals at all of its bases, not planetaries. Vikings coming on in through that slow zone dropped by the mothership. The mothership potentially going to go down. It does. A Colossus goes down. That's a big deal. That's a lot of DPS from the Protoss army gone. A tank is sieged up. There's still quite a bit of Protoss here on the ground. Looks like another Colossus will perish. Sharkbot not making any more Colossus. A tank is even sieging up with this. And Tyr has been getting aggressive. It does unsiege its tank and head on home. There's a lot of vulnerable Templar there, but Tyr's not going to put 2 and 2 together. We also see Sharkbot stealing a base of Tyr, and in a game that Tyr is being more less efficient, that could be really big here. We also see that Sharkbot is down one of its bases, though. Psystorm goes down, good split by Tyr. We see Bio stimming on in, trying to get on top of these Tempest Immortals. Another Psystorm goes down. We see the Bio instantly fan out. However, Storm is an instant spell, so you can't really micro against it to remove all the damage. You can minimize the damage, but you're still going to take some damage from that Storm. And now we see just more and more Marines on the way for Tyr. It's got 50 Marines. And at this point, there's High Templar out, so that's the form of AoE instead of the Colossus. It's all going to depend on the micro, the positioning, that kind of thing. Tyr's just bashing its head against the wall, and what a bot game this is. Trying to reach that 10 Viking count again. There is +3 ship weapons on the way, so that Oracle gets gunned down quite quickly. A Psystorm being used on Vikings is good, but we need to see Psystorm hit this Bio army, and this is what I'm talking about. One of the seemingly downsides of Tyr. This Bio is just walking by cannons, trying to find whatever target it's going for. The positioning and the micro of Tyr, like, Terran units should stutter step almost always when there's an enemy unit nearby. It's just not efficient to move command ever. So Tyr making a big micro mistake there and showing potentially a bit of a fault in the bot, as if it could have killed all those cannons, all those batteries, if it had attacked there. Instead it chased what I believe was a probe or something like that. And eventually in this game Tyr will start to run out of steam, as one base is mined out, a second is mined out, the third starting to mine out. There is still a couple of pretty fresh bases, but with Sharkbot taking this base up here, this base here, I don't know if Tyr is going to be able to make it happen. Its fights still have been at about a 2-to-1 loss ratio to that of Sharkbot, and now it's moving in with its Vikings, potentially going to eat a Psystorm. It does kill off that Oracle again, but we see Storms hitting this Bio. The Bio, if we watch its movements, we'll see how efficiently it trades. It is getting some good damage off on these Archons, firing 100% of the time. That's the thing to look at. Psystorm, slow zone, brutal massacre going down there. The AI spellcast usage, very good from Sharkbot. We see Sharkbot holding this position with the batteries and the cannons on the ground to defend. Tyr is doing an incredible job keeping its supply up, but eventually it is just not going to trade out that well, as it's unable to break that location. It's going to take a long time to replace all that stuff. We see Sharkbot now attempting to take Tyr's base, where there's a command center there. This goes to show how AI programming works. Hasn't seen the base there, so it's got to be free. Now, Marines coming on in again, trying to use up all that Psystorm, trying to just attack successfully. The +3 attack does a lot of damage when the units are actually firing. We see a Psystorm go down. We see Tyr's army moving towards the right side. Tyr has not scouted this base towards the top right. We'll see if it ever does, or tries to take that base potentially. It seems not interested in expanding. We see the Oracle for Sharkbot actually harassing a little bit. Vikings will help take care of that. We see the right side base under threat for Sharkbot, though. Sharkbot's army is looking real formidable with all of its upgrades. It's not an unbeatable Protoss composition, but with what Tyr's making, the way Tyr's attacking, I think it's just not looking too darn good for the Terran bot, pardon me. As yeah, the resources lost really tells a story here. And I am kind of curious why Tyr never elected to try and get up another base. Maybe the bot author just said 6 bases is fine. And then obviously there's the programmed hard cap on the Vikings. Only make 10, you don't need more. That may be something for the bot author to look at if they lose lots of games like this, but if not, it's just one of those things. You got to make a choice when programming. You can't just have your bot do the right thing all the time. Because I'm sure in lots of games, 10 Vikings is a perfect cap. Now we see Marines, Marauders running all over the place, but the trades haven't improved for Tyr. It was looking like there was hope at one point, but in the end, just the unit control, the grouping needs to be a little better. Like, it's got a bunch of Marauders back here while it's trickling in Marines, and that's not going to do it. So, yeah, I think we're going to fast forward a little bit here just to see. Maybe Tyr can pull it back, but it's really starting to run out of resources. The Marauders, of course, do very well against the few Stalkers, but again, Tyr has been the aggressive bot this game. The aggressor in these bot games seems to be the one that comes up short in a lot of cases. Now Tyr's taken a really long time to get that supply back up to 200 compared to what it was before. Never trying to get up this base in the top right, never scouting it is an interesting thing. If I had to guess, the bot author just said 6 bases is plenty. If you haven't won the game by then, so be it. Now, once again, Tyr is going to go in for it. There's a Psystorm drop, and there's currently 3 High Templar on the map. But we see, like, what is this bio doing? Where's it going? Trying to chase a single probe. I see the prioritization there when it comes to, like, harassing and stuff. But when it comes to a big army fight, you do not want your bio in a mode that it's chasing probes. We see some of the bio pushing into the static defense here. It's actually making a bit of ground. But the problem is there is just so much static defense here. The battery overcharge has been really good for Sharkbot, consistently using that. And I see the design of Sharkbot looking real good. But as it throws up more and more cannons, and I just don't think Tyr is going to be able to remax again, as it's transferring all its workers, 71 of them, to this last mineral patch. What's it going to do when it's out of minerals? That's the question. 80 to go. Drop a mule. We need to get all the minerals as quick as possible. The SCVs explode as they are no longer grouped up. And yeah, I think that is going to be it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this one, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not, consider becoming a YouTube member, join the Discord, which is linked down below. And then, yeah, if you are a bot author and you have any games that you want me to cast, feel free to send them my way. As, yeah, Sharkbot wants the little bit of gas here, it seems. And great showing from both of these bots, but just the late game strategy of Sharkbot looks pretty darn good. And I'll definitely check out the late game of Sharkbot, potentially against like Ketrokbot, potentially against Eris down the line, just to see how well it does in that regard. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time though. Thanks so much for tuning in.